Hello guys, welcome back to another video. Today we'll be looking at 7 things America does really well. This is from Lost in the Pond. If you want to check him out, I'll have the link in the bio. Let's like his video and let's see what he actually has for us.
Like you're living the dream while also escaping the feds. Hello, I'm Lawrence, I'm from Britain and I live in the United States, and anybody that's seen my channel before will know that I absolutely love living here. Now don't get me wrong, I do have feelings about the things that America doesn't do quite so well, just as I'm aware of Britain's shortcomings. But I'm an optimist, and amid all of the criticisms that might be thrown at America, I often think it's important to remind myself of the things that America does well. I think amid the pandemic of the last 2 years and this sort of political division that's engulfed the country, it can be easy for us to lose sight of those details, those things that have made my stay in the United States an enjoyable one. So I'm going to outline some of them right here, right now, so that you can share this video from now until the end of time. Here are 7 things that the United States of America
Let's
does
see what
really
he
well.
has. Pizza.
Yes, it's a little bit of a cliche because, everybody loves pizza. Even back in Britain, we like pizza, just not as much as we do in
we
America.
love pizza.
I lived in Britain for 26 years, I've lived in America for 14, and I've probably had 100 times more pizzas since moving here. And on the whole, America does them really well. I'm sure the Italians won't thank me for saying that, and I'll caveat that by saying I do also love Italian pizza. I just love pizza in general, that's sort of a rule, isn't it? But America has many different styles, and of course I live in Chicago, so I am living in the place where one of its most famous pizzas was born. And if I'm in the mood and I haven't eaten in 3 days,
this is making me hungry
Chicago
now.
deep dish pizza is amazing. But, and this is the reason that I don't go out onto the streets of Chicago anymore, I actually prefer the Detroit style. I know, because the thing is with Detroit style, it's like Hufflepuff. Everybody thinks they're either Gryffindor or Slytherin, but I'm a contrarian by nature, so I always like to go for the third option. For me, it's not New York style or Chicago, it's Detroit.
Fellas, it's time to take care
These ads are
of
getting
down
on my
there.
nerves,
I have
bro.
let my bottom half go.
Use Manscaped.
I promise that not all of my
Diners.
answers are about food, but I felt like I had to include this one. Not many things beat the feeling of waking up on a Sunday morning and making that decision to go to your local diner and have breakfast. For me, there's just a significant amount of warmth that comes with an American diner. It's the early morning chatter, it's the pour of the coffee, it's the omelets.
Yeah, like in my opinion, diners are mostly like American thing because like even on movies, like I don't live in America, so I'm not sure. But even in movies I've been seeing like they have the local diners, they go there, have the coffee, maybe sit down, have the breakfast, take away coffee to work, But I think that's just in America.
And the hash
Let's see.
browns, it's the seating booth, it's all of it. It just makes up for such a great atmosphere. And, we do have, of course, cafeterias and things like that back in Britain, but we don't really have anything that's precisely the same as an American diner, which is sort of a shame because they also remind me of adventure, right? I always think of 2 film characters meeting in secret to plot the overthrow of the villain who's come to annihilate the city. That's why I go to diners. Streets. This might seem like a weird answer, especially since, of course, we have streets
I
in
can
Britain.
understand
But
this
to some
one.
extent, I miss the streets in Britain. There's character to the winding nature of them, and you can very much get lost just looking for the post office. Here, it feels like you're less likely to do that, and the orderly side of my brain appreciates that. Streets, firstly, of course, are laid out usually in blocks, so you have kind of rectangular streets. This is very much in line with my observations of America's fascination with rectangles. But it's not just that, right? It's the things that are on the street. Those fire hydrants that you see in the movies, it turns out they're real. And the house numbers seem to go on forever. It almost seemed peculiar back in Britain if the house number went into 4 digits. I don't know that I've had an American address that's had fewer than 3. Are there any Americans that live at, number 4 Washington Street? Oh, and streets as well. They're all named after presidents or places in America.
Okay,
or
I did
types
not
of
know that
tree.
one.
And I just love that continuity. I love saying things like, I'll meet you on the corner of Maplewood and Jefferson in 5. And there are always people walking their dogs on these streets. And they're usually super polite and they'll look you in the eye and say, good morning. It's afternoon. I really couldn't have made this list without including entertainment. Obviously that's quite a broad term, but I think in general terms, very few countries do entertainment like the United States. Firstly, America produces so much entertainment. You could be talking about music, television, film, and in each of those, there's just such a vast array of output Now, don't get me wrong, some of it's crap. But when they get it right, which historically has been often, you end up with The Wizard of Oz, you end up with Star Wars, you end up with the Marvel franchise, Quantum Leap. I could go on. Wrestling. You know, I thought about including
Theme
this under
parks.
entertainment, but it seems as though theme parks deserve their own entry. That was a pun on entering a theme park. Now, over the years, Britain has had its fair share of theme parks, from Alton Towers to Flamingo Land to the M25, but America just has more of them. And of course, I think everybody knows about Disneyland and Disney World and Universal Studios and all of that.
Yeah.
But after moving here, I realized, much to my intense happiness, that theme parks aren't just reserved for Florida and California, but can actually be found in many states. I think the first one I went to was Kings Island, just outside of Cincinnati. And I also went to Holiday World in Santa Claus, Indiana, and yes, that's a real place. And the strange thing is, I didn't go on many of the roller coasters because I have this overwhelming feeling that we're going to crash. So you might be thinking, what do you even get out of theme parks? And to me, it's the atmosphere. It's the balloons, it's the movie scores that play throughout the entire place. It's the hot summer days, it's the interns dressed in a Yogi Bear costume. Come to think of it, that must be hell in July. But for the rest of us, it's great to meet Yogi and friends. People who watch this channel regularly know that I absolutely love parks, partly for the opposite reason that I love theme parks, which, now that I've said that out loud, I've just realised that theme parks are themselves parks. Anyway, the point is, it's the relative absence of people that makes them so enjoyable. This was even the case for me when I lived in Britain, where we have a boatload of parks, some of which...
parks in America, I can imagine, taking your dog for walks, maybe sit there, have a picnic, see new people, talk to people, just enjoy the day,
boats. But just like with theme parks, America has way more of them. And some of them are absolutely massive. There's one in Alaska that is larger than Northern Ireland and Wales combined. In fact, back in the day, I did a video about US national parks that absolutely dwarf their UK equivalents. I'll link to that at the end of this video. And there's sort of a hierarchy of parks here as well. You've got sort of local municipal parks, you've got state parks, you've got national parks. Spoil for choice, because the United States is made up of a very diverse terrain. So you've got the hot springs at Yellowstone National Park, you've got the tree-laden mountains of Great Smoky Mountains National Park, you've got the Grand Canyon, and just 100 million other places. That is an exaggeration, but there's a lot of them. And of course, you could fly to these places, although not directly. You'd have to go to an airport.
This is probably
really,
one of
let's
the
be
best.
honest, does that beat a good old American road trip? I don't think so. I love the open road in the US, and some of that comes from the movies. Again, it's just like with the diner. It feels like you're living the dream while also escaping the feds. And you just stick on Billy Joel or something cool, you wind down the window and you just hit the gas, man. Not the gas man, you hit the gas, comma, man. It's amazing. And that open road, of course, really is open and long, with some highways spanning the entire country. And you see things on these journeys that you don't see from the air, and you certainly wouldn't see in Britain, like quirky roadside attractions, especially when you're on a historic route, or the terrain that I just spoke about. And taking road trips in Britain was never quite the same thing, because firstly, the country is nowhere near as big, and secondly, in the UK, you can get to most towns and cities by train, which is equally adventurous, but you can't really do that for the most part in America, because there isn't high-speed rail. That's an example of something it doesn't do too well, so I've learned to embrace one of the things that it does, and that's road trips. That is it for this episode. Let me know in the comments below some of the things that you think America does well.
That was amazing. So I really enjoyed this one. If you guys actually enjoyed this one as well, I'm going to react to some more of this guy's videos, because he seems legit, Check him out yourself. And if you want me to react to any other videos of him, just let me know down in the comments below. That's it for today's video. Hit that like button, subscribe. It really helps out. But that's it for today. Peace out.